My Gavanen and well met. I am Arakir Galadriel, head of Divide and Conquer, and as many people have requested, and as just for the sake of variety, I have decided to start a Dorwinion campaign. If it goes reasonably well, then we shall continue on with both. If it doesn't go particularly well, obviously I don't really wish to continue on if it's not enjoyable for people, so do let me know your thoughts. This is the starting screen for Dorwinion at the very beginning of the game. Obviously I've skipped out the menu bit because everyone can easily just go and see that in their own time. This is the starting scroll. I personally don't ever read those. Well, I've read them on the very first time I played, but that we're talking years ago with that now. The little message just to tell me that the military report, our military is not yet ready and will take some time to get into full strength. The barracks event, as it is known. Right, so here we are with our three cities, Karasant, Santanwi, Karasfalathrim. Oh, we get some Thorn Guard in Santanwi, I believe. Yeah, that's not too shabby. And then the forces of Norway in the north. Now, I've not played Dorwinion since I split Ravanion into the three regions, so it's going to be an interesting one indeed. As always, I try and maintain peace with Random as long as physically possible, because as soon as we go to war, they drain almost all my income. But let's take a look at what we can build. First of all, have a look at our money. We're getting 2,000. That's not too bad, but that's with everybody within a building. Right, we're going to want to capitalise on our money. So, ports before we go to war. Ports are a huge boost to your income. One of the best ways to make money. I would always recommend that you go down the port line. Because it's an incredibly good way of making money. Right, that has 2 free upkeep, and we have a meeting hall which gives us 1 free upkeep. The meeting hall is the centre of power in a settlement, and from this structure the governance of the people is administered. Lords, nobles, captains, thanes, councilmen and generals all gather to best ensure the survival of the settlement. They will discuss recruitment, division of resources for upkeep, law enforcement, and issues of architecture and expansion, all the while taking orders from the central powers of the Northern realms. From this central power base, any settlement can flourish. As you can imagine, that is rather generic, but it is no longer too medieval. But we get 3 free upkeep units here. Our generals now get free upkeep. I've not played Dorwinion since we added that feature. And we should be able to recruit a general, actually, from Dorwinion itself. I can't remember what building. Was it the town hall we made them available from? Oh, is it only certain factions that can train? I can't quite remember. Oh well, I'm sure we'll find out. I'm pretty sure it was only certain factions that can actually train a bodyguard. But time will tell. I might be clicking on the wrong building. I can't remember. I'll have a little look at the files in between. But right, so we got our ports going. We're going to want to hire as many units as we can because war is inevitable, and we want to try and prepare for it. We're now making no money at the moment. But we'll find out how much we actually are. What was that one again? This one's 3, wasn't it? 3 free upkeep. That's not very good because we've already got 3, which means all of them are going to cost money. And the fort is already full, and ideally we want them out of the fort. Do we try and border with... No, we'll leave Dale and Dwarves to go north. We'll head east. We'll have west and south. Now, as soon as I bring these out, we're going to be losing money.
Making camp
but there's Norway's unique strategy model. Norway is the Avarin High Councillor. The Avarin Dorwinion are led by the Avarin High Councillor, which in turn is presided over by the High Councillor. And that is him. Move in and take Ilanin. Right, and that is all we should... Oh, no, we're going to want a diplomat. Yes, please. And that army can immediately head south.
Lord. Orders. Yes. We'll make camp here.
How are we doing on the towers?
Yes, my lord.
I like to... You'll be able to tell which factions I like the most, because as you can see from the map, the entirety of Dorwinion is already almost completely covered by towers. And that is because this is a faction that I play the most, and as you've seen from my Northern Dunedain video, I love towers, so I sometimes make it easy on myself by just going into the files and building loads of towers before the game even begins.
Over the lands.
Which some may consider as cheating, to be honest, but it's only cheating for me. It's not really cheating for anyone else, unless you particularly like Dol Amroth, Dorwinion, Enedwaith, and I think that's it. I think they're the only ones. Oh, Bree. I really enjoy Bree. I think Bree are a really fun campaign, especially if you play as, because if you play as them, they're not a money powerhouse. They're not incredibly strong. They're not over the top.
Yes, my lord.
But if the computer places them, although hopefully we'll see in
We
this campaign
shall
as well,
engage.
they now that we have
We
no
shall
effect on
prevail.
Ariada whatsoever,
Yes.
Your
you should
orders,
be able
my
to
lord.
see that they are no longer
With honour. Prime
overpowered.
position to launch a cowardly ambush.
Right,
in
return to
need.
Santanwi.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands.
Everything is building as we'd
My
hoped.
lord.
Down to Karas
By your
Valathrim.
command.
We are making not very much money. 60. 60, that is it. Maybe I need to edit the files and to make Dorwinion have their available units. I'm not entirely certain. A fort down there would have been so useful as well. But as it stands, is anyone there? Got that diplomat? Yes,
My
we
lord.
have. Let's try and get peace and
Stopping
trade rights
here.
and
Tomorrow's journey plan.
everything to make us flourish. Now, those of you who obviously enjoy a little bit of background information on Lord of the Rings when you watch my videos, unfortunately, Dorwinion is almost entirely fan fiction. There is about one sentence related to Dorwinion, and you'll find that when you play as Dorwinion at the campaign selection screen, you'll find the
Yes, my lord.
small little information we have on Dorwinion.
Approach.
There is something you wish to speak of?
Go on, trade rights. Oh, generous.
I accept.
Hello.
We are most willing to hear you out.
Go on,
further.
go on.
I see little my people
scum!
need in your we welcome words of wisdom such as
We got
these.
trade rights, which has not helped. We're still losing a lot of money. But once we get the ports, in 3 turns, we'll have a big boost to our income. And then we're going to want to build great halls to get more free upkeep. We can help the upkeep, however, by taking you and
will, my
you
lord.
and joining Swain and going to the
With
fort.
honour. We shall continue tomorrow.
My lord. By your command.
We can go no further, my lord. We shall continue tomorrow.
No need to besiege that early. What's 4 turns at this time? Nothing really. Recently I was watching Sapphire Phoenix, I believe 08 is the number he's chosen for the end of his name. Do check him out if you haven't seen his videos at all. He's thoroughly enjoyable to watch him play the mod. And he's got a Dol Amroth campaign, and interestingly, I was watching one of his videos, number 8 I believe, and at about turn 46 he hasn't even crossed the Anduin yet, so that is going to be a very peculiar game for him. Harad are going to be so strong, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to actually beat them, to be honest, so that's a very
Yes,
interesting
my
one
lord.
unfold. But the reason I mention it is because I didn't really think that I rushed. I didn't think I was a particularly fast player. But by watching other people's Let's Plays, it certainly turns out that I probably am quite fast. Not ridiculously fast, but apparently a little swift. But anyway, the only thing that we know about Dorwinion is that it is called a land of heady wines in the burning south, which is an interesting description of this area. I assume it's a reference to the Easterlings and the desert-like nature of their homeland. Obviously we know geographically where Dorwinion is because it's on the map, and it is here. Other than that, we don't really know anything else about it. 2 turns, but 1 turn to the port. Oh, we're making money. We are making money, and when we get those ports, we're going to make a lot more money. The Dorwinion campaign, I will choose to play as the Elves this time. I know many of you... I really like the humans there. I think some of their units look incredible, but many people have asked to play as the Elves because it's interesting to have an Elven army this far over to the east. So I will choose the Elves this time around. Right, we got our ports, and instantly our income has gone from, what was that, like 500 up to 1,196. So yeah, get the leather tanner in because that gives a fixed income. And then we're going to want those in each place. Oh, I forgot to turn the tax rate down. Growth is more important than initial income. So always go low tax rate wherever you can. The increased tax rate is normally about 60 or 50 gold. It's never anything particularly useful. But by lowering the tax rate, that extra 0.5% of growth,
As you wish.
that is incredibly
Stopping
useful.
here.
I've gone on the long campaign because the chances are you'll get once I get to the point where I know I've won, but I haven't actually yet won, but I know no one can stop me. That's when I tend to stop playing, because that's when, for me, it loses the fun. And I'm not going to play if I'm not enjoying it, because that's game playing 101. Like, you don't play the game if you don't enjoy the game. So once I get to the point where I've beaten and fought all the battles I want to fight, then I will just call it. But that is likely to be about 150 turns away, so buckle in. 459 men, 500, but look at that, 5-to-1 ratio. Should we have a little look at the elves in battle? Let's do that. This one is going to be called, or as someone requested and said, Dagor. Let's call it Beleg Dalgor, which means mighty battle.
Attack!
We get to see the elves in action, absolutely slaughtering these humans, which is exactly what they will do. The Avari elves are a very interesting concept, but the biggest misconception with the Avari elves is that people think they're evil. And unfortunately that is probably down to games like Warhammer 40,000 and dare I say Heroes as well, Heroes of Might and Magic. I thoroughly enjoy Heroes of Might and Magic. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 in fact was one of the first games I ever played, and to this day I still play it regularly. Absolutely love it. But due to games like that, people think that dark elves are evil, and the Avari elves are not evil. They are dark in a literal sense because they didn't see the light of the two trees of Aman. Because before the world was illuminated by the moon and the sun, it was illuminated by two great trees. Initially it was illuminated by pillars, and great light emanated from the top of these two pillars, and they were set at the north and south reaches of the world by the Valar. But Morgoth destroyed them along with the spider. Oh, and I've totally forgotten her name. Or she might have brought down the trees actually, but Morgoth teamed up with the spider. Ungoliant. But anyway, before the trees were in existence there were pillars, but the pillars were brought down. And then the light was taken and it was instilled in the two trees of Aman, which essentially were the moon and the sun, but in tree form. And any elves that saw the light of these trees were essentially raised up beyond. They were better than their kin. So in the same way that the Númenóreans kind of live a bit longer, they're wiser. They're generally considered cleverer than the wild men and the Easterlings. It's the same for the elves. So the high elves, which is what they've taken the name as, are just the elves that have seen the light of the trees. Mostly they've seen the light of the trees by going to Aman, but Tolkien also writes that the Sindar elves, who only made it to Beleriand, because they made it to the shores of the sea, they could actually see the trees across the ocean. So they're considered light elves, even though they didn't actually go to Aman. But the Avari are considered dark elves because they did not see the light of these trees, so they are less wise. But they aren't evil by any stretch of the imagination. They'd never side with Sauron, they'd never fight with Melkor or Morgoth, who are the same person if you are unsure. Look at those charging around the side. What do they think they're doing? Absolutely nothing, because the Avari shadows are incredible fighters. Pulling out their sword and their dagger. No way he'll be bringing people down left, right and centre. There is no way. He's got his own unique custom model, which is cool. Our pikemen aren't being used, so flank them round because they are incredible. There's our guard. I really like those that unit's model. I think they're really cool. The Avari are not the only elves which did not see the light of the trees. The Nandor, the elves of Mirkwood and Lothlorien, also did not see the light of the trees, and collectively these elves are all called Mori Quendi, which quite literally means dark elves.
Good tidings. The enemy general lies dead.
But the Avari are just the elves who initially... People can kind of think of them as being potentially evil, because Arome, who was the Valar who discovered the elves at Cuavianen where they awoke, he told them all to come with him, and the Valar were instantly enthralled with the elves, and they instantly felt a connection toward them. So Arome wanted to protect them, and he wanted to lead them back to the rest of the Valar so they could protect them and guide them and help shape them. But the Avari are the elves who refused to even leave Cuavianen. So it is a bit of a stretch to assume that they live in Dorwinion, because Cuavianen was even further east than any map we've seen has any map we've seen covers. So people think the Oricani are way off beyond the eastern border of Middle-earth, but Cuavianen is even further than that. So it's very uncertain if the Avari ever would have made it this far, but there's a bit of a chance, and it adds a really interesting dynamic to this faction. So the only other point to mention about Cuavianen is that despite what the films want to tell you, and despite what people who are incorrect want to tell you, Galadriel is not the oldest elf in existence. The oldest elf in existence that we know of by name is Círdan, the shipwright of Linden, because he is the only elf who still exists who is stated to have awoken at Cuavianen. So Elrond, Galadriel, they're all like 3rd or 4th generation elves, but Círdan awoke with the other elves. His father is Eru Ilúvatar the One, the god figure of Middle-earth. Although he's never stated to have taken a wife nor had children, so he spent the entirety of elven existence on his own, which must be pretty sad, to be honest. Pretty disappointing for him. Alright, let's speed it up. We've pretty much won. They're going to do their stupid, we're attacking you, no, we're going to rout. We're attacking you, no, we're going to rout. And they do it a lot. Or they're just going to be felled by our archers. Should we move a little closer? So that's the backstory to the Avari. I wanted to get that one out of the way because I knew this video would mostly be obviously just end turns, because it's the first few turns, you don't do too much. But as I've already said, the entire faction of Dorwinion is essentially fan fiction, so...
Behold how our coward... This is a
we lost
clear
8.
victory!
But it does make for a fun campaign. I really enjoy Dorwinion, but unfortunately it has meant that Dale are a little superfluous, and they're no longer really needed. The Dwarves and Dorwinion together can deal with Run, and Dale are kind of just bottlenecked in the middle there, which is why we've tried to make them hard, economically speaking.
Triumphed!
So that at least you get a bit of a challenge if you play as Dale. Ah, look at that, perfect. Now you guys head up there. Oh, and we can again train units. Ah, this castle is the absolute bee's knees. We want to train everything that we can. That's building that, that's building that. They're just always constantly trying to get Vine Regent Howin to retrain. Carisblatham got this leather tanner in. Oh, of course, that's why they were retraining. That one's building its turn 1-1. Right, now this army is now going to be... if we take Vine Regent Howin out... Howin doesn't have a unique bodyguard, he just has high paladins, who are the bodyguard, the generic bodyguard for Dorwinion. Dorwinion, one of the few factions where you don't get a unique bodyguard, actually.
We can go no further.
Right, you're going to head north.
Making camp here.
He's going to meet up with the Elven army,
As you wish.
because no way,
Yes, my lord.
as one can imagine, is now going to build my towers.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands. With honor.
They're only a turn away, so Illidan can't hate us that much, but we'll try and take roads, actually, if we can. What's the culture? Ah, Northmen, which is good. Solid start, but it will not be long before Run are knocking on
My lord.
our door, so
Without question.
got to be prepared, got to be ready. The campaign objectives are to defeat the Easterlings and to defeat Mordor, but obviously, as you all know, you can only defeat Mordor by destroying the ring, which is a very lengthy process, and you could defeat almost every evil faction and still not find the ring. You have to make a beeline for it when it's mentioned.
Yes. Stopping here.
Wintirion Ior. Run, get Wintirion Ior. That's too far away. I'm not going to bother with that one. More of them, please. Retrain those, I suppose. Oh, somehow we're only making 205, but we're going to go up to 1,496, so... that's not always correct, don't blindly follow that. Oh, look at Vine Regent Howin. What a boss. He's a master of the Vintner Court and the only human to sit on the Avarin High Council. Hell yeah, almost the entire backstory of Dorwinion, I am reasonably proud to say, was created by myself.
Your orders, my lord.
The whole concept of the Vine Regent, the Vine Court, the Avarin High Council, all of that is myself. So I do hope you enjoy playing as Dorwinion, because I've spent a lot of time writing all the text for them.
Yes.
The basic principle is that the Avarin elves do live in Dorwinion, so we assume that they live here, However, they are not answerable to the humans of Dorwinion, and they don't really intermix. And the Avari have their own council structure, the Avarian High Council, which is just the lords of the Avari sitting on the council. However, to show that there is mutual recognition between the humans and the elves, the Vine Regent, Howin, the head of the human side of the political system, he sits on the Avarian High Council just so that he is privy to the affairs of the elves.
Yes, my lord.
Assembling a mighty
and in
host.
return, Nerway, the Avarian High
Your orders,
Councillor,
my
the
lord.
equivalent of Howin
With
but for the
honour,
elves,
this
he
tower
is
will
permitted
keep
to sit
vigil over
on
the
the
lands.
Vintner Court.
Yes.
Because wine is the only thing we know about Dorwinion, I kind of went quite hard on the wine theme. So everything is Vintner this or wine that, or so. But that's all we knew about them, so that's all I had to go
Yes, my lord.
on. I can't remember where Carverad
go
is,
no
so we're going to
further,
go
my
on a
lord.
little bit of a wild goose chase in the wilds here. And the human side of the political structure is that it's rather feudal in its creation. Unfortunately, the lords of the realm, who are predominantly tend to be the people with money, they sit on the in the Vintner Court, and the court is made up of these lords, these earls, these dukes. But it's
Yes,
headed up
my
by
lord.
one man, the Vine Regent. But he
Without
is rather
question.
he is
Yes.
answerable to the court itself, so he doesn't have absolute
Your
power. He's not a
orders, my
king.
lord.
He is
With
merely a
honour,
prime minister.
This tower will keep vigil over the lands. We can go no further.
But
my
obviously
lord.
you need a king for a faction such as this. Ah, right, that built, was it that one that we just built? It just told me and I've already forgotten. Meeting hall, yes. Which is good. Now we have 2 free upkeep here, which is very nice. Oh, we can train the High Paladins. Ah, so it was just, it needed time for that to trigger. Currently unavailable there. I wonder if it's when you upgrade each town centre, then they'll become available. Oh, we can get Dorwinion men at arms. Splendid. Is that because we've got a garrison quarters? Yeah. Not making a large amount
Yes,
of money.
my lord.
But,
There is no glory in hiding like this.
it's
my
going to
lord.
take so long. I am
Yes.
terribly sorry, everyone. Right, now we're actually making money. Let's pull him down.
Yes.
Join up
With
with a force
honour.
from Santanui. Want to take you, want to take you.
Your
Definitely
will,
want to
my
take you.
lord.
We'll leave those
Orders.
2 and we'll
Your
build
will,
an
my
extra,
lord.
another
Yes.
unit. Well, we're
Joining
losing money,
force.
but
Your orders,
I
my
want to
lord.
move in on Othelbed and try and
Yes.
cut the
Yes,
forces
my
of
lord.
Ran off before they really reach
Your
us.
orders. Always happy to deal with you, trusted
Go on,
friends.
map information. Go on.
You
Yeah.
hold us at ransom. Good day to you.
Oh, Dale, you're doing good. They took Burmarlinge. Dalian Town. I really like the word Dalian. It's odd, but there we are. Another successful turn. It's the calm before the storm, I'm afraid. Run will come. They'll bring hordes of Balkoth tribesmen who love their javelins, so we've got to try and get archers. But we don't really get very many archers. We've only got that basic militia archer and thorn crossbowmen, and crossbows are slow. So the Balkoth tribesmen have really got the drop on us, unfortunately.
Your orders, my lord.
Aha! Carverad.
Concealing the troops. by
Begin.
your order.
Yes, my lord.
Sieging it. Head to Othelbed
Yes.
for Run
Making
arrive.
camp here.
See, Run don't have any other enemy, which is why they always attack you, because they've just got nowhere else to go, really. So they always come for yourself. I'll take those off. We don't need them, really. Oh, especially as we're now losing money, of course. So no one is really going to be trained. But when that gets that unit, you'll have 2. So those archers head to
As you
Carisfalathrim.
wish. We can go no.
Your orders,
Oh, no,
my
we can't
lord.
build towers anymore, can he? Head down and
With
join up. with him.
honour. We shall continue tomorrow.
Oh, that's building roads, though. That's really good. Plains of Vidugavia.
Yes, my
What's he
lord.
called? Hyde.
You have a proposition.
Oh, hello. Yes, please. Go on then.
This seems
Straight
to be
in with
good
that.
reason.
Take the
As
trade
is
right.
open, it seems another most reasonable proposal, we hope. I feel we can agree. Please, let us hear your next. There's no
They reject-
kindness for us.
I just gifted them military access and they
A
rejected it.
pleasure, noble sire.
Yes, my lord.
Hopefully one of them takes that. We'll use him as a
Without
scout now and
question.
see who takes that
Tomorrow's
village.
journey planned out. Yes, my lord. Your orders, my lord.
Making camp here.
Your will, my lord.
Alright, I think that is a good point to stop this very first one. So, hopefully this Dorwinion campaign goes well. I've played Dorwinion an incredible amount of times. Northern Dunedain, my other Let's Play, I've played maybe twice in the entire time I've been part of DAC. Dorwinion, this is my double figures campaign, so ideally this should go reasonably well, as I've won it many times, but time will tell. Hopefully it's got some hints and tips in there. Hopefully you find the Lord of the Rings bits of information interesting, but time will tell. So for now, I'm Arakir Galadriel, the head of Divide and Conquer. You can check us out in the description of this video, or indeed if you've found my channel, then I imagine you already have heard of Divide and Conquer, as it kind of is working that way at the moment rather than the other way around. But if you have stumbled upon me and you're unsure, it's a mod for Third Age Total War, which is in turn its own mod for Medieval 2 Total War, the Kingdoms expansion pack. So if you just stumbled across this video and you want to play this as well, it's entirely possible to get. The game is on Steam along with the expansion. Discs are a lot rarer now, but Steam has you covered, and it does indeed work with Steam.
Lord.
I don't personally play it on
can go
Steam
no
because I'm
further,
old
my
school
lord.
and I've had the game since it came out. But anyway, so there we are. I'm Arakir Galadriel, head of Divide and Conquer. If you like the video, then I'm very pleased. But for now, Navar Naden Pedemad, and farewell.